The fact is that natural language processing community, or so-called language technology community, created an overwhelming number of lexicons, glossaries that are used in machine translation, machine-readable dictionaries, and lexical databases over the last 30 years, which are used for natural language processing tasks. One of the most important issues is the fact that these resources have rarely found their way into the practical work of creating lexicographic resources so far. This can be largely attributed to the lack of a common platform for building, sharing, and exploiting knowledge and expertise between lexicographers and computational linguists. Contemporary lexicographers are in need of the natural language processing tools for creating new resources. On the other hand, lexicographers have for centuries produced resources with high-quality semantic information that could help natural language processing applications to achieve higher precision and computational efficiency. Unfortunately, these resources are typically encoded in incompatible data structures. Luckily, there is a growing trend of building a common platform for sharing and exploiting knowledge and expertise between computational linguists and lexicographers. In this course, we will discuss the resources created by the language technology community so far, some common interoperability standards that are provided, as well as workflows, conceptual models, and data services. Firstly, in this chapter, we will look into some definitions of computational lexicology and lexicography, its roots, pillars, and the future trends. Lexicography and lexicology are defined as two separate disciplines that share the root, Greek word lexicon, meaning dictionary or vocabulary. Additionally, lexicography also contains the Greek word graphein, which means to describe. The word lexicography was first recorded in Oxford English Dictionary in 1680, while the word lexicology was first recorded in 1838, originating from the Greek logos and legein, meaning to say. The subject of both disciplines are words and vocabulary, in other words, the lexicon. The difference between the two has long been a matter of dispute. Sometimes lexicography is considered to be a part or a branch of lexicology. Some consider this a distinction of theory and practice. Some consider lexicography as allied science to lexicology because it also studies words, but primarily in relation with dictionaries. It is concerned with the inclusion of words in dictionaries and from that perspective with the whole lexicon. Anyway, lexicology is definitely a part of the linguistics which studies words, theoretical aspect of the process, analysis and description of the lexicon. Lexicography is also sometimes defined as the branch of applied linguistics, concerned with the design and construction of lexicons for practical use. But there is also a definition of lexicography shared by lexicographers working within the broad framework of the function theory. For instance, Haid, Lerover, Tarp, Huertas Oliveira, and Bergenholtz, and information scientists such as Botma, that lexicography is a discipline which may be considered as integrated part of information science. Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines lexicography as a process of editing or making of a dictionary. Oxford Dictionary also defines it as the activity or occupation of compiling dictionaries, while Hartman and James, in their work from 2000, perceive it not only as a craft or professional activity, but also as the academic field concerned with dictionaries and other reference works. It is definitely a cross-disciplinary field involving information science, linguistics, language acquisition, cultural anthropology, terminography, translation studies, and statistics. Hartman and James, in their work from 1998, have pointed out that lexicography is often misconceived as a branch of linguistics, is sui generis a field whose endeavors are informed by the theories and practices of information science, literature, publishing, philosophy, and historical, comparative, and applied linguistics. Other researchers, which I just mentioned, mostly lexicographers working within a broad field of the function theory, Tarp, Botma, Haid, Leurer, Fuertes Oliveira, and Bergenholtz, strongly advocate the point of view where the lexicography is an integrated part of information science and lexicographical works and tools are perceived as artifacts designed to be consulted in order to meet punctual information needs. But, as pointed out by Rufus Goes in 2011, in order to progress, lexicographers and scholars from other relevant disciplines will not only have to learn, but also to unlearn and get rid of some bad habits and traditions. In his work, he says, and I quote, "Looking back at the development of the theory and practice of lexicography, it is clear that for too long the practice of printed dictionaries endured without a sound theory. For too long, lexicography did not establish itself as an independent discipline. For too long, the pool of lexicographers was restricted to experts from a single field. For too long, innovation in the lexicographic practice was impeded by its theory being based on practice, not preceding that practice. For too long, lexicographic theory was exclusively directed at the production of dictionaries. Looking to the future, the planning and compilation of electronic dictionaries and the further development of a coherent and medium-unspecific theory, we must unlearn a great deal of what we know, and we must learn anew, so that we produce innovative reference tools, including dictionaries." Finally, when speaking about lexicography, it is important to mention that lexicography also has some sister disciplines, namely terminology, encyclopedic science, bibliography, terminography, indexing, information technology, librarianship, media studies, and translation.